Chris. I'm from Singapore originally, but have lived in New Zealand since 1989. I'm a pastor. I actually trained as a missionary, but have been pastoring in Singapore, New Zealand, Hong Kong. But just recently, I stepped out of pastoral ministry for two reasons. One, I felt that as a church, we have been struggling with discipleship, and we're not seeing people growing in their faith, and hence the decline of Christianity, but also the increased number of migrants that are coming into this country. I live in Christchurch, been here since 2005. And for those who are from Christchurch, before the earthquake, Christchurch was very much a Pakeha white community with a number of East Asians, whether it's Chinese, Japanese, Koreans. But after the earthquake, New Zealand has, Christchurch in particular, has become so culturally diverse. Last week, we got some stats from Stats New Zealand, and 1 out of every 4 is now a migrant in this country, and 1 out of every 5 is a Maori. So it shows that New Zealand has become quite multi-ethnic, and with the coming in of migrants, we are also seeing religions that are coming in particular, excuse me, Hinduism and Islam. And both Hinduism and Islam and the followers of the two religions are actively reaching out to New Zealand as well. So they're not just looking at their own migrant communities, they're actually exploring how they can reach the wider New Zealand population. And I know of quite a few Europeans that have decided either to go to the mosque and pursue Islam or to pursue Hinduism. Here in Christchurch, a couple of temples are being built. So it's a challenge for us as a church as we look at these other religions that are coming in, as we look at the migrants. There's on one hand, the great opportunity, the mission field is now here in New Zealand. We don't have to go overseas. But with that opportunity also comes challenges. And the fastest growing religion in New Zealand at the moment, Sikhism, and second is Hinduism. So those are the two Indian religions, and it's growing rapidly here in New Zealand. The largest influx of migrants now are from India, the Philippines, China, South Africa, Fiji, Australia, and UK. Growing number from the Middle East, growing number from Latin America. So you have a lot of Portuguese speakers here in Christchurch from the Brazilian community. So with all this migrants coming in, there is this need for us as a church to actually explore how we're going to reach out to these people that God is bringing into this country. And as Andrew mentioned, one of the things that I've been working with is a collaboration that quite a number of mission organizations have come together to explore how, by working together, we can seek ways of reaching the various migrants, whether it's through the church, coming and serving the church, equipping the church to reach the migrants, or in creating and developing communities within those migrant population. So that's something that is happening, and it's great to see some positive initiatives taking place in how we can reach these people coming in and making New Zealand home. Great to have others that are looking at coming to New Zealand and being part of the kingdom builders here as well. And so that's exciting. Challenges facing migrants. One is the language barrier. And one of the great ministries that churches have is ESOL. And I think that's a great way to build bridges. They are having difficulties finding employment. And if they do find employment, often they are taken advantage of because a lot of the migrants because they're happy to get a job, they don't complain. And because they don't complain, the employers sometimes take advantage of them. There is also a lot of workplace bullying. Um, Many of them struggle with loneliness and isolation because they leave families behind from the countries they come from. Or they come in as refugees and sort of families are split. So some of them are in New Zealand, others maybe elsewhere. And so they do struggle a lot with loneliness. They've given up a lot of their family network from where they came from to try and make New Zealand their home. The cost of living is affecting many of them, financial instability. Many of them, because they don't know how to access the government funds or government help and support or agencies providing help. They have no idea how to go about seeking those help, and they do need Christians and people to come alongside them to help them in this journey. So that's a bit of the challenges. And so I guess the prayer points which you would have all received from Andrew, but with regards to the migrants, we need to pray, I guess, for a real awakening of the church. I'm aware of churches that have great mission action plans to reach the young people, to reach the millennials, but not many churches are intentionally looking at reaching migrants. And I think this is something that we need to pray about, that churches would recognize that reaching migrants is actually different from reaching just Kiwis, because it's understanding their culture, understanding their mindset. And so churches need to be awakened in a sense with that, and to find the love of Christ, uh, to be, I guess, the channels of the love of Christ to the migrants that are coming in, and that the migrants can experience that love through the way the church is serving them. Also pray for emotional, mental, practical support that the migrants need. Many of them don't know how to ask for help, and to be able to just reach out and actually offer help, going to a neighbor and helping. So pray that Christians in the communities would look out for the neighbors that they live amongst, and look at how they can love their neighbor from another country. Pray also that as the migrants come in and as they embrace the new culture, that they can find ways of reaching out to the agencies that are available to help them. So pray for wisdom, discernment, and help for them to connect with the agencies, to find housing, work, and so on. And finally, I think the big one is that many migrants find that there is a lot of discrimination in our society, racism. I know of many migrant kids at school get bullied, and ridiculed at times by the way they dress, by the way they look. And so pray against that racism, discrimination, workplace bullying that many migrants are facing. And so with that bullying and discrimination, together with the loneliness and isolation, many migrants are struggling. And often that's where they seek comfort from within their own community, which is fine on one hand, but doesn't actually help them fit into New Zealand society. And so there's this need for us to help them come out of their shell and be accepted as part of our society. So those are, I guess, some of the prayer points, Andrew, that I think we could pray about.